Nice view of the Alps. Nice view of the Alps.
Kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Oh, nein, danke.
It looks like there's been another wolf killing, and this one occurred last night in downtown Munich. Baron Friedrich von Glauer. He lives in the Perlacker district. I was hoping for a Mercedes.
Das vereinbaren Sie am besten mit meiner Sekretärin. Gut, ja, danke. Ah, I was hoping you'd stop by. I have a package for you.
Really?
Yeah, this is one.
Must be from Gertie.
I trust this morning finds you well, Mr. Knight.
Hell, I'm lucky it's found me at all. You can call me Gabriel, by the way.
Oh, of course, call me Harald. Harry's okay too.
Thanks, Harry.
March 18th, 1994. Gabriel, you might as well know, I'm in Rittersburg. I wasn't about to sit in New Orleans and let you have all the fun. Besides, if it goes anything like last time, you're going to need my help. I've been doing the research Gerda said you wanted. Enclosed is a book you might find useful. It looks a little outdated, but then I've never dealt with werewolves before, so it's hard to be sure. There's also some werewolf history right here in town. I found some clues pointing to a werewolf called the Black Wolf. He's cropped up in a couple of places, including here in Rittersburg in 1750, and in association with Ludwig II, a Bavarian king that died in 1886. It's all ancient history, I know, but something tells me that it is relevant. I'm not sure where to go from here, except to look into Ludwig II. Ask around about the Black Wolf in Munich and see what you find out. Also, let me know if you want me to research Ludwig or join you there. I'm sending this to your lawyer, but I'll need to contact you directly. Send your address and phone number ASAP. Herr Huber is being stubborn and won't tell me. Be careful and write. Grace.
Damn it, what the hell is Grace doing here? At least she's off in the ozone somewhere. The Black Wolf, Ludwig II. She's really losing it. Do you know anything about King Ludwig II?
But naturally. Have you been running into him much on your tour of Munich?
Running into him? Isn't he dead?
Yes, yes, along that. But he is still everywhere, like your Marilyn Monroe or Elvis. He is the Bavarian enigma.
So what's the big deal about this Ludwig guy?
They call him the fairy tale king. He's very romantic and mysterious, you know. He built castles and now they are huge tourist attractions.
Castles. Where are they?
Oh, let's see. Herrenchiemsee is about 3 hours southeast. Neuschwanstein is southwest to the border with Switzerland, about 2.5 hours. I can have my secretary draw you a map if you like, but most German maps have them already marked.
No thanks. I wasn't thinking of going myself. But it does seem like a harmless enough activity for someone else I know. So this guy's just a dead king, right? And these castles are just out in the countryside, hours from Munich.
Yes.
Perfect. Have you ever heard of anyone or anything called the Black Wolf?
No. Sorry.
That's all right. I'm sure it's nothing. Well, I'm off. See you, Harry.
Goodbye.
Guess I figured out where last night's killing took place. Isn't that the detective from the paper? Commissar. Cuckoo clocks. Cuckoo clocks. Hello.
Grüß Gott.
Cute.
Yeah, well, there is in there this sound thing, you know, to wake up. You know, in the morning.
An alarm clock.
Ja, alarm clock. Ja, richtig. Ja.
How much is it?
Wie viel? 60 marks.
I'll take that woodpecker clock.
60 marks, bitte.
That's all right, I'll take it as it is.
Dankeschön.
Bitte. I'd give it a shot, but looks like a television. Commissar Lieber, my name is Gabriel Knight. I've been trying to get in touch with you at the station. I'm not sure the German public would be interested in that. I'm not sure. Looks like a television news. I'm not sure the German public would be interested in that. I'm not sure the German public would be interested in that. Are y'all with the news? I have some information you might find of interest.
You're in America,
That's right.
and you believe you have information about the mutilation killings.
I do have some information, yes ma'am. I was about to discuss it with the commissar over there, but he seems kind of busy. I thought I'd speak with y'all instead.
Nun gut, was soll's. Dreh schön, Dieter. Wir befinden uns am Tatort des bis jetzt letzten bizarren Todesfalles der durch die Killerwölfe herbeigeführt wurde. Mit mir befindet sich ein Amerikaner, der offensichtlich wichtige Hinweise bezüglich dieses Mordfalles hat. You believe you have information about the wolf killings?
Yes, I do. I was about to ask Commissar Lieber over there some questions, such as why animal hair found at the crime scene is reddish-brown when the escaped zoo wolves were gray.
Fragt, wieso die Tierhaare am Tatort rötlich-braun sind, wie doch die entlaufenen Zuwölfe offensichtlich grau waren.
And how come paw prints found at the scene indicate an animal much larger than the zoo wolf species Canis lupus lupus?
Und fragt, wieso die Pfotenabdrücke am Tatort viel größer sind als die der Zoowölfe. How did you get this information?
Well,
All right, you have my attention. Now, who are you?
I'm Gabriel Knight, the American novelist. I've been by your station to see you, but funny thing, they would not let me in.
All right, I'll see you at the station later, but only if you agree to get out of here and not talk to the police.
You got it.
I don't think they'd know much about it.
Good morning, Herr Knight. I'm afraid there's no one here at the moment. They're all busy with their daily tasks. You are, however, welcome to use the club, so I've been informed.
Thank you, Xavier. You're so kind. Mind if we chat for a moment?
Anything to be of service, sir.
So, tell me about the club.
What about it?
How long has the club been around?
Since 1970.
No way. The old Royal Bavarian Hunting Lodge? It's older than that, isn't it?
Die Königliche Bayerische Hofjagdloge is ancient. This particular form of it is new.
What happened in 1970?
Baron von Glauer came. He brought a new vision. The lodge had nearly died out. Hunting is not so popular as it used to be.
Were you here when von Glauer joined?
Baron von Glauer. He hired me later, in 72.
How many members are there?
There are 5 now, not including you. I'm not sure of your status.
5? You mean the men that were here last night make up the entire club?
Quantity is not an overriding concern with us, Herr Knight. The Baron personally interviewed and approved each new member. Despite your own experience, this club is extremely exclusive. Not everyone would fit in.
No, I don't suppose they would. How often do the club members go hunting?
As a group, once a month or so.
Once a month? Hell, I thought y'all were hunters. Back home, you don't get out there and spill a little blood at least once a week. The other men start looking at you funny.
Organized club hunts are once a month. Members can use the club's lodges anytime on a more casual basis, and they frequently do.
So, tell me about the club members.
I don't gossip about our members, Herr Knight.
Gossip? With you? Please. I've never met anyone as obviously discreet as you.
Thank you.
Bet you could drop a load if you wanted to, though. You probably know more about what goes on around here than anyone.
True. At least I used to. But with all these new people coming in, I'm not sure I know anything anymore.
All these new people? You mean I'm not the only fresh blood?
No, Herr Dr. Klingman was only accepted a few weeks ago.
Really? Who brought him in?
I was not in on the discussion, so I really couldn't say. But I'm sure there was more thought behind his acceptance than yours.
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
No.
Alrighty. All right, Xavier. Thanks. Nice plant. Nice plant. Locked.
Somebody's out the door.
I can hear.
Everything all right?
Everything is fine, Herr Knight. Möchte wissen, wer das ist.
Everything all right?
Everything is fine, Herr Knight.
And I thought Germans only drank beer. Just a guess, but I don't think this stuff has much to do with hunting. Rice, Von Agner, Henneman. I met them all last night. I wonder what these figures mean. Rice, Von Agner. Photos of the club hunts. Looks like Von Glauer and Von Zell monopolized the camera. Or the hunts. Photos of the club hunts. Looks like Von Glauer and Von Zell monopolized.
Mr. Knight?
Hey.
This room is for members. Only.
Oh, sorry. The door was open. I'll go up.
Wait! I'd better make sure you do not take another unexpected detour. After you. Sava, kommen Sie!
Ja, Baron Von Zell?
I found the basement door unlocked and Herr Knight below. Perhaps you could keep a better eye on the keys in the future.
I will, Baron Von Zell.
May I speak with you, Baron Von Zell?
Yes? What is it?
So, what do you do for a living, Baron Von Zell?
For a living? My family is in banking, Herr Knight. What do you do for a living?
Me? I'm a writer.
A writer? How aggressive of you.
How about telling me about the other club members?
I have a better idea. Why don't you tell me about yourself?
Like what?
For example, why are you in Munich?
Oh, I'm just vacationing and thought I'd stop by on my way through.
Really? And where are you staying in Munich?
Outside of town a ways.
Which suburb?
I'm on a farm, actually. And you know, I don't remember the name of the area. Probably couldn't pronounce it anyway.
Yes. Quite curious for someone with a supposedly high Germanic background.
Yep. I guess going out and making your mark on the rest of the world will do that to a family line. The club seems to be an exciting place. Do y'all travel much as a group?
No.
Really? You don't hunt abroad?
We are all very busy men.
No, isn't that odd? So, how do you like the club?
Herr Knight, if you wish to learn about the club, you should keep your mouth shut and observe.
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
No.
I take it you're particularly fond of hunting. I noticed the photographs downstairs. You and the Baron sure do get around.
We are the best? You may find that out for yourself someday.
Oh, I'm anxious for us to hit the field. I have a feeling there's a lot I could learn from you.
You may find yourself more challenged than you can imagine.
True. I don't get in as much practice as I'd like, and hunting's like any other sport. The more you do it, the better you get.
Bullshit! Hunting is a matter of the spirit, of will.
So it is.
However, Evan could see that von Glover and I have had more practice than the others in the club. We used to hunt together quite a bit.
Used to. You don't hunt together anymore?
No, not often.
Are you and Von Glauer too busy to hunt much these days, or have y'all fallen out?
I suppose I've simply outgrown him.
Really? In what way?
You wouldn't understand.
Oh. You mentioned that y'all don't go on hunting trips abroad?
We do not.
But those trophies in the basement, y'all really have white tigers in Germany, or lions?
The majority of what the club hunts are far more common species, Herr Knight. The trophies in the basement are exceptions, and they were obtained quite legally.
Oh, you misunderstand me, Baron von...
I think not. In any case, the basement is not public territory, and its contents are, therefore, none of your concern.
Of course, I do apologize.
As a guest of this club, the why you are a guest of this club is a mystery to me. But as a guest, perhaps you should limit your prowling and sniffing to areas which you are offered openly by those who belong here.
You're so right.
Entschuldigung, Baron. Gabriel Knight ist hier, c'est Suzanne. Lassen Sie bitte ihn herein. Gabriel, what a pleasure to see you so soon. Bringen Sie uns bitte ein zweites Glas Wein.
Hope I'm not taking advantage of your kind invitation.
Well, my invitations are meant to be kept. Come, warm yourself. I hope you like wine. I got hooked on the grape when I lived in France.
It's fine, Baron.
Call me Friedrich.
All right.
Good. I like to have things settled. You were going to tell me how you found the club and about your hunting in America.
Oh, there must be more interesting subjects.
No doubt. You are a man who runs deep, I suspect.
On my off days.
I find nothing more stimulating than a new companion. A fresh mind with treasures to reap. New thoughts like rare birds uncovered and examined, one by one. It is only when people know each other well that they run out of things to say.
May we never be so cursed. Are you from Munich originally?
No, I was raised abroad. But both of my parents had deep Bavarian roots.
Really? Where abroad?
All over. France, England, South America, North America. I love to travel.
So tell me about your family.
The Von Glovers? We are not nearly as old a line as the Ritters, I'm afraid.
Do you have a wife? Children?
Good God, no.
You sound like someone else I know.
I've been picking up on certain similarities between us. Do you have relatives? How fares the Ritter family tree?
I'm the last.
I too. I suppose all trees eventually stop bearing fruit.
How'd you end up here?
My circumstances were probably not much different than your own. I wanted to return to the land of my ancestors, and so I did. Which reminds me, you were going to tell me how the Ritter family ended up in America.
My grandfather. He left the family and went to New Orleans.
But you chose to return to the family. Why?
If you want to know the truth, I didn't have a hell of a lot of choice.
Yes. I understand.
Tell me about the club.
I'd prefer it if you formed your own opinions. To be perfectly frank, I could use a fresh perspective. That's one reason why I invited you to join us.
How about telling me about the other club members?
Ah, my select few. You find them valuable friends once you get to know them.
Did most of them come to the club through you?
For the most part. Though occasionally, fate throws one into my lap.
All of the men at the club are from wealthy German families, I gather.
Yes, but it's not quite that simple. I am a believer in self-determination. Each man at the club must also be personally accomplished and gifted.
Really?
Absolutely. For example, von Eigner owns one of Germany's biggest meat butchering plants, and he runs an elite private brewery. It's true he inherited the business, but he's expanded it a great deal.
A butchery. Huh. And the others?
Price is recognized as one of the best trial lawyers in Germany. He seems pleasant enough in person, but you would be surprised how vicious he can be in the courtroom.
And Henneman?
Is with the government. He has a prominent position and is an acknowledged contender for higher office.
Really? How high?
There have been newspaper reports that predicted the highest.
That would be convenient for his friends, wouldn't it?
Such men are an asset to everyone who knows them.
And Baron von Zell?
Von Zell's family owned the majority of stock of one of Munich's oldest banks.
In his own personal accomplishments?
Gar is a quite promising young man. He was always top of his class, the best at anything he did.
I keep picking up a past tense here.
You haven't seen him at his best. He's going through a rough spot lately, I'm afraid.
There's something about the club I don't quite understand.
Yes?
I get the feeling you're not your average, ordinary hunting club.
No?
Well, that room in the basement, for instance.
I gather you've been exploring.
Well, the door was open.
It doesn't matter. You are right. Yes. The Königlich Bayerische Hofjagdloge is more than just a hunting club. We share certain philosophical beliefs as well.
I'm curious about these philosophical beliefs of yours. Can I talk you into enlighten me?
Are you really interested?
Yes.
I'm glad. You seem to be the sort of man who would appreciate our way of thinking. The men at the club and I, it is our desire to reconnect with our true physical nature.
Go on.
Think of it this way. What makes man different from any other species on this planet? Civilization, of course. Oh, it's not a bad thing, human society. But it has come at a terrible price. Through civilization, man has lost his physical self, his sensory power, his instinct, if you will. He became fat and lazy, a dulled, rusted blade.
And those are my good days.
Picture a beast in the woods. It is alert. It smells. It sees. It feels everything around it. It can tell where some other animal has passed days before, where food is to be found. It can sense danger. You put civilized man in the woods, and he's comparably deaf, dumb, and blind.
I hear you, but isn't some of that related to physical makeup? Our senses of smell and hearing aren't as sharp as those of wolves, for example.
That's just it. Surely man once had those abilities. As generations of city dwellers failed to use their most acute senses, genetically they started to fall away, the way limbs wither when not exercised. I believe we can hold this degeneration. And not only hold it, but recover that which was lost.
It's an interesting concept. Do you have any proof that such powers are recoverable?
Proof? I felt things myself. Keener hearing, sharper smells, but documentable proof? That is harder. To what extent we can recover these primal abilities, and what some of those abilities might prove to be, that is what we still struggle to find out.
You're very convincing, Friedrich. There's no doubt that the potential is fascinating. How does one go about trying to get back in touch with one's physical self? Does it have something to do with hunting?
You are right. That's part of it, yes. Man is, or was, a predator. But unfortunately, he was too smart for his own good. He figured out how to raise his prey in pens. Hunting helps us get back in touch with our predator soul.
Do you? Get back in touch with your predator soul?
Some of us have been more successful at tapping into that than others.
So how has this philosophy affected the men in the club?
The men at the club are all excellent specimens who have used the philosophy to increase their success and power.
So your woods becomes corporate headquarters, your prey the competition.
Some of the technique can be applied, yes. When the senses are primed, one can pick up all sort of feedback that is normally lost in the haze.
Speaking hypothetically, do you think it would be possible to take this philosophy too far?
Funny that should occur to you so quickly. It hadn't occurred to me for the longest time. I hope not.
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Gunther! Würden Sie das bitte reinigen?
You barely got me.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Danke. I feel so clumsy. Danke, Gunther. What was it you asked again?
I asked if you'd ever heard of the Black Wolf.
Of course, you did. I suppose you just startled me. These killings in the papers, they've really got me derailed.
Any particular reason?
People getting slaughtered. Children. In broad daylight. Nature can seem cruel, but it is orderly. It does not waste or torture. Not like this. And with the club espousing what we do, our philosophy does not support this kind of thing.
I'm sure that's true.
I apologize. It's just, I am concerned that we are not put in the best of light under these circumstances. To promote hunting when these atrocities in the papers. You must understand, the nature I promote is not a murderer. When a healthy beast kills, it takes only what it needs to survive, and it does so respectfully. It is only the man who is capable of such a pointless slaughter. I'll be glad when this has passed. I'm sure the other men feel the same way.
That's a great mask. Mind if I take a look?
Be my guest.
Interesting. Is it African?
No, Indian. I picked it up in Brazil.
Huh. Von Glauer says it's Indian. I'm not sure what else to say.
Well, I hate to say it, but I should go.
It's been a rare pleasure.
Yeah. I've been kind of isolated over here myself.
I'll see you at the club tonight, won't I?
Oh, right.
And perhaps you'd like to come over for a drink after that? It will give us a chance to talk some more about the others.
I'd like that. Thanks.
Kommen Sie herein.
Commissar Lever, so generous of you to see me.
Sit down, Mr. Knight. Now, you will tell me what you think you know about this case, yes?
How do you say, quid pro quo in German?
There is no translation.
Thanks so much for your time.
Sit down! What are you proposing exactly?
You want information? I want information. It's, kind of convenient that way.
I can't give you police information.
Why not? I'm not asking for anything confidential. Hell, I can't even read the damn newspapers around here. Press release stuff, that's all I want.
All right. But then it's your turn. Agreed?
I hear you. How long have you been a commissar?
10 years.
All of them here in Munich?
Yes.
And a criminal commissar is like, what, a police detective in America?
Americans don't have so many ranks, I think. A German criminal commissar is, say, more like an English chief inspector.
Ah, P.D. James.
What?
Nothing. Tell me about the other victims.
What do you want to know?
How many victims have there been?
5, including the one downtown.
Could there be bodies out there that you haven't found yet?
No. The killings have been done in broad daylight. Body parts left like a trail of boat criminal. Breadcrumbs?
Jack the Ripper Wolf. When were the other victims killed?
The first was 32 days ago.
2 days after the zoo wolves escaped. And the others?
The 2 teenage boys were killed 20 days ago. The Huber girl 6 days ago.
They're speeding up.
Maybe.
What about the locations of the killings? Any pattern there?
You can see for yourself if you like. I have a marked map on the wall. Until last night, the killer always struck 30 to 40 minutes outside the city. The first was killed north of München near Esching. The 2 males were killed in Feldkirchen, that's east. Toni Huber was killed on her parents' farm just west of Lacham.
What does forensics say about the killer?
That information is not for the press.
But the bite marks, saliva, you've seen the bodies, I haven't.
All I can say is, it is an animal.
Mind if I take a guess? Your boys in the lab say the bite marks are canine and are closer to wolf than to dog. But beyond that, they can't pin it down. Nothing like it on the records. Probably a weird hybrid. Yeah. That's what I thought. Have you given any thought at all about the possibility of...
What?
A werewolf? Never mind. The killer isn't one of the zoo wolves, is it?
That is information the press does not have, Mr. Knight. I expect it to stay that way.
I understand.
As you pointed out so loudly at the crime scene, evidence on the killer does not match what we know of the zoo wolves.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that?
Either there is a mistake with the zoo records.
I think the zoo would know if they had a reddish-brown hybrid in the wolf kennel.
I didn't say it was likely. Another possibility is, of course, that another animal is responsible.
Wild?
Possibly. Maybe. A pet.
A pet? As in maybe the reason you haven't been able to track the thing is that it's going into someone's home.
It's possible.
You keep saying an animal. You found evidence of only one animal? One bite pattern, one saliva type?
Yes.
Yet 2 wolves escaped from the zoo.
As you say, the zoo wolves do not figure into this at all.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. No, I definitely would not say that. Tell me about the latest victim.
Male, 52, Grossberg was the name. He was a furrier. Ironic, isn't it?
A furrier. What an amazing coincidence. Have any theories about why the killer struck downtown this time?
No. Do you?
I read somewhere that wolves are clean animals. They don't kill close to their lair unless they're forced to.
What lair? What are you talking about?
Not sure, actually. Random thought. Have you ever heard of anyone or anything called the Black Wolf?
The hair samples we have are all reddish-brown.
Yeah, I know. I was just wondering if you'd heard of a black wolf in general.
Hold on. Hier ist es.
What?
Missing persons case. A runaway teenaged girl. It happened in 1989 in a town called Kirschel, in the Nationalpark Bayerischer Wald, Bavarian National Forest.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I just thought I remembered something. It was a sad case, you know. She was very pretty. Ah, yes. Here it is.
What?
There was a supposed witness. An old lady who lived on the edge of town near the woods. She says she saw the girl go into the woods the night she disappeared. Says the wolf got her.
The wolf?
The old lady had been complaining for some time about a huge black wolf in the woods. But no one believed her. She was verrückt, crazy.
No one else ever saw the thing?
Hadn't been any wolves in those woods for 50 years.
So there was probably nothing to it.
That's what I thought at the time. Of course, that was years before this case. Never heard of wolf attacks back then.
Do you get a lot of missing persons cases in Germany?
Oh, sure. Mostly teenagers, runaways. It gets worse all the time. Families are not like they used to be, yes?
Suppose not. That's all I wanted to know.
Good. We discuss you now, yes?
I guess.
You want to tell me, or do I have to ask?
I'm investigating the murder of Tony Yuba for her parents.
Why?
I'm an investigator. That's what I do.
You're an American PI?
You could say that.
And how did the Hubers end up hiring you?
Mutual friends?
I see. And this evidence you have?
A paw print and some hair samples from the Yuba farm. I spoke with some folks at the zoo as well.
All right, Mr. Knight. I don't know how the police deal with you in America, but in this country, we don't like civilian interference.
I understand.
If you hear something, you come to me. If you see something, you come to me. And under no circumstances are you to speak with the press. You do. And I'll have your passport.
You wouldn't like it. It was a bad hair day.
I am quite serious.
I swear, not a word.
All right. I can't stop you from investigating. But stay out of our way.
Quiet as a shadow. That's me. Grossberg. Didn't Liba say that was the name of the guy who was killed last night? This map, it marks the locations of all the wolf killings, right?
Yes. What?
The one last night, the one in the middle, doesn't really fit, does it?
It has to fit. It happened.
I suppose. I still say that one in the middle is... I'm gonna take off.
Stay out of trouble.
Of course.
Hello?
Hello. My name is Knight. I'm an American associate of Herr Grossberg's.
Yes? I was just calling the people in Herr Grossberg's address book to notify them. Have you heard that Herr Grossberg has...
Yes, I know about his death.
Yes, I'm sorry. Would you mind giving me your name again so I can check you off the list?
Knight.
Ella Hoffman... I'm not finding you.
Could you check under Vaughn? It's Vaughn Knight.
Oh, so... Yes, von Eigner, von Frank, von Stein... You're not under Vaughn either.
Excuse me, did you say Von Agner?
Yes?
Do you know Von Agner?
I don't know him. I don't know most of Grossberg's business contacts.
But Grossberg knew him.
If this is about money, you're out of luck. All the accounts are locked until someone comes in and takes over. Besides, there's nothing in them anyway.
Really? Well, could you just look up an account balance for me?
I can't. The address book is all I have. The police have taken Herr Grossberg's ledgers.
Oh, well, thank you.
Goodbye.
I'd better make sure Gracie keeps busy. Elsewhere.
Ah, Gabriel, come in.
Hey, Harry. You mentioned the possibility of my using your secretary for research?
Anytime.
Great. I wouldn't ask, but I need a newspaper search done, and my German sucks.
No problem. What exactly are you looking for?
Missing persons. Actually, missing persons cases that occurred in or near forested areas.
How far back do you want to go?
10 years?
Okay, I can spare her later in the day. We should have it ready for you by tomorrow.
Great. Thanks. Well, I'm off. See you, Harry.
Goodbye.
That's taken care of.
Good night.
And you, Herr Price? You look a little wet.
Oh, I was visiting a friend nearby, and I thought that I should take a shower before the others arrived. I was a bit automatic.
Well, how thoughtful. Herr Price?
Yes.
Baron von Glau mentioned that you're a lawyer.
Yes. And fortunately for me these days, I have enough money to where I only have to take those cases which interest me. I enjoy my leisure time.
And what do you do with your leisure time?
I entertain.
Probably a dumb question, but what sort of entertaining do you do?
Do you like women, Herr Knight?
I've been known to.
I adore them. You might call it an obsession. The stalk, the dance, the bait, the hook.
And what do you do once you've hooked him?
Oh, you know. You're quite the pleasurist yourself. Or have I misled you?
You're probably just getting a whiff of the past, Herr Price. What do you think of the club philosophy?
It works, doesn't it?
Does it?
We're all animals. I deny it.
So you don't believe in suppressing anything?
Why would I want to suppress my urges? If your body wants something, it must be natural.
Well, what if you get the natural urge to rip someone's throat out?
Well, fortunately, my instincts run to pleasure. Of the equally sticky but less fatal kind.
Well, what about those whose instincts are fatal? Shouldn't they suppress?
I believe that nature handles that scenario when it occurs here, Knight.
And how does it do that exactly?
In the wild, when a member of society does not conform, he is hunted down and executed. End of mutant instinct. And its genetic bloodline.
Tell me about the other club members.
Oh, they're all right. Don't worry about Von Zell. He's a bastard to everyone these days.
PMS?
I don't know what his problem is. Oh, he's always been an arrogant bastard, competitive on the hunts, ambitious. But still, aren't we all? He was decent enough at one time. In fact, he was Von Gloria's favorite. And he was an asset as a friend. But things change.
And what about the other club members?
Like who?
Henneman, for example. I've heard he's in line for a position extremely high up in the government.
Henneman, he is a drunk. His days as a political superstar are over. My friends at the courthouse tell me that he has been marked for early retirement. One less politician to worry about, huh?
When did Von Zell begin to change?
Oh, he's been getting worse for a long time. I remember a hunting trip about a year ago. That was the last time I remember that we were all together and having a good time. He must have started getting difficult after that.
Seems like you've pretty much written Von Zell off yourself. Any particular reason?
Look, it's one thing when he insults the rest of us. But when he insults the Baron, no. I heard them arguing once. When Glover told Von Zell he did acted stupidly about something or the other, Von Zell was furious.
What'd he say?
He told the Baron that he was weak. Bastard. I don't know why the Baron didn't get away with it. I mean, I would have said something at the time, but, well, it was a private conversation.
Uh-huh. When was this?
I don't know. 5, 6 weeks ago?
How was Von Zell an asset as a friend?
He is a banker.
Are you saying he loaned you money?
He's always willing to help out his good friends.
Why would anyone in this club need money? I thought y'all were models of success.
Yes, well, fortunately, I took less advantage of Von Zell's hospitality than some.
Have you ever heard of the Black Wolf?
Yes.
Really, where?
Oh, I don't know. Just sounds familiar.
Will you tell me if you remember?
Of course. The reinforcements have arrived. Now you'll have someone new to probe, Herr Knight.
My brilliant man, good cheer to you both. Where's the beer?
Guten Abend, mein Herr. Good evening.
Guten Abend.
Wieder eine Steine essen wir, ja.
Abend.
Abend. Bei uns
Meine kleine Familie. How are you all this evening? Hello. Gabriel, I'm glad you could join us.
I need to speak with the Baron. Enjoy your evening, Herr Knight.
Thanks. I will.
Baron, may I speak to you for a minute?
What is it, Bryce?
Just the right size for the big bad wolf to come down the chimney.
Yes, Herr Knight?
Just wanted to grab a magazine.
Then grab one.
Thanks.
Ich bin sicher, es ist kein Reiter.
That's a thought.
Just wanted to put this magazine back. It wasn't very good. I wouldn't recommend it.
Immer so.
And I thought Germans only drank beer.
Hey. Can I join you in a moment, Gabriel? Price and I are almost finished.
Okay. I'll be around.
The thing is this.
I don't want to bother them now. I want them to keep...
Ich habe meinen Nachmittagstermin abgesagt. Wir treffen uns hier um 4 Uhr?
Ja, so viel ich weiß, ja. Ja, so, good evening, Herr Knight.
Henneman, Von Agner?
You care to join us?
Sure. Thanks.
I've spoken to several of the club members today, but I haven't had a chance to speak with you yet, Herr von Agner.
How tragic. No one in this club talks better than I do.
Oh, true, very true.
Perhaps tomorrow?
I'd be delighted.
I haven't had a chance to get to know you yet, Herr Hanneman.
Well, I'm already beyond serious conversation tonight, I'm afraid.
Tomorrow's fine. Have you guys heard about the mutilation killing last night? Happened right around the corner.
Awful, simply awful.
I had meant to get a newspaper, but the time got away from me. Do you have any details?
A few. The victim was a man named Grossberg. He ran a furrier business in town.
Horrible. You know, this zoo wolf business is inexcusable. The mayor has been spoken to, and quite seriously. Even the prime minister is concerned.
Did you know Grossberg, Herr von Agner?
Me? Grossberg? Why, no. Why do you ask?
I just thought you're both in the animal processing business.
Munich is a big city, Herr Knight.
So it is. Ah, well, I was just curious. So what were you all talking about when I came up?
Tomorrow's little excursion. Will you be joining us?
Our monthly hunting trip.
A hunt trip? Really? Where?
Our lodge is at Eppenberg. It's in the Bavarian National Forest. We leave tomorrow afternoon.
Well, gosh, you know, that sounds great, but I need to have my gun cleaned and...
Oh, there are plenty of guns at the lodge.
Yeah, von Eigner, perhaps the Baron did not mean for Herr Knight to join us quite so soon.
Oh, hell, why not then? Baron?
Von Eigner?
Our hunting trip tomorrow. Will our new American friend be going with us?
Tonight? Well, I don't see why he could...
Of course not. He's not a club member. He's probably not even registered with the license office.
Nonsense, Gar. The sooner we get to see his technique, the better. We'll just slip him in, and he can register properly when we get back.
But that's not legal.
Since when do you care about legalities? It's only a hunting license?
I agree. I would enjoy Gabriel's presence very much.
Well, enough said. The Baron should certainly get whatever he wants, shouldn't he? Perhaps it will be an interesting exercise at that.
Ah, Herr Baron.
Gentlemen, excuse me, please.
I apologize for not getting to you sooner. Have you been enjoying yourself?
Oh, it's been loads of fun.
Good. I'm glad you're going with us tomorrow. We don't get started until the afternoon, so won't have to worry about staying up late tonight.
I have to warn you, my hunting's kind of rusty.
I'm sure you'll do just fine.
Was? I demand to know what you're doing at this club.
Me?
Baron Bonzel.
Really?
Are you aware that this guest of yours has been asking intimate questions? Poking around in our personal affairs? He must be a reporter. Or the police.
What do we have to fear from a reporter or the police? Although I can promise you, her Knight is neither.
You don't care that he's prying into our private business? What possible motive could he have?
Gar! Please. He's my guest. You're the one who's turning that into an inquisition.
Then it is on your head!
I apologize for that.
You keep defending me. I'm not exactly helping the harmony around here.
Believe me, the harmony was shattered a long time before you came. Until it gets territorial. I'm tired of it, frankly.
Well, I should go anyway. I wanted to clean up before tonight.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, good night.
I should be home soon. See you then.
Gentlemen, Madame, Daniel will be here.
There's no one there.
Guten Tag.
Grüß Gott, Frau Nakamura. Ich habe etwas für Sie.
Oh, it's from Gabriel.
Ja, das ist vom Schattenjäger. Ja.
No, I think you... Gabriel is a working partner and... Never mind. Danke.
Bitte, brauchen Sie noch etwas?
Danke.
Bitte.
Gracie, you decided to come over. That's great. Guten Tag and all that. I'm sure you and Gertie are hitting it off. Thanks for finding the werewolf book. I'm not sure what it all means, but it might be useful. About Ludwig II, you know, I think you might have something there. Ubergrau says there are 2 places you should check out. Ludwig had a castle called New Swan something, and there's a museum about him here in chemistry. Something like that. I really think you should spend some time looking into it. Don't worry. Things are going very smoothly this time around. I've tracked a suspect to a hunt club run by a man named Von Glauer. He seems okay, but I'm sure there's something going on with at least one of the others. Don't worry, though. I met a police detective named Lieber, so I have backup. I'll be finished soon. Sit tight and enjoy your visit till I get there. Gabriel.
What does he think? I'm on vacation here? And no address. Thank you very much, Mr. Knight. Herr Huber?
Yes?
I was wondering if you've changed your mind about telling me where Gabriel is. It's really important.
No. Sorry.
Thanks.
Bitte.
Hello there, dear.
Hi, I'm Grace Nakamura from the castle. Am I interrupting?
Heavens, no.
Have a seat, Miss Nakamura.
Well, I might. For a moment.
Isn't this nice? We just finished our breakfast. Do you want something?
No, thanks.
Good for you. I can never turn down food myself. Now you just tell us all about it, Sugar Pie.
You mentioned the other night that you were a demonologist. What is that exactly?
Well, it's not as bad as it sounds, honey. What Emma and I really do is to help protect people.
Protect them from what?
Well, do you believe in the devil, Miss Nakamura?
I believe in good and evil, if that helps.
Oh, but Satan and his demons are real, and they will attack the living. And most folks don't know what to do once they've been attacked. We try to help protect people.
How can you protect people from demons?
Best protection is faith in God, of course. But sometimes faith isn't enough. Sometimes we have to delve into the supernatural in order to protect others. Your Schottenjoggers are just the same.
We are? I mean, he is?
Of course! The warriors of light are rare these days, but they do exist all around the globe.
That's interesting. I just read about a group called Manos del Sol in Brazil. So the Ritters aren't the only Schottenjägers.
Well, they're probably the only ones to use that title, but others have been chosen for the battle.
Do you know anything about King Ludwig II?
Sure, we saw his castles, didn't we, Mother?
We sure did. Why do you ask?
Well, I found a letter in the Schottenjäger library warning Ludwig about the Black Wolf.
Who wrote the letter?
One of Gabriel's ancestors, a Schottenjäger.
Seems like whoever was using me as a megaphone helped you find that letter. Perhaps you should follow the path something's pointing at. Look into Ludwig.
I intend to. The other night you said something about the Black Wolf.
What did you mean? Where did you hear that name?
I wasn't the one talking.
I don't understand.
Well, that's quite all right. The point is, it would be a very good idea to answer those questions, and we must work together to do so. Of course I'll help you, Pumpkin. I'd like to know myself, wouldn't I? It isn't every day one's taken over by a disembodied spirit, and I don't much care for it, thank you.
You're not talking about a seance, are you?
Oh, heavens no.
Thank God.
Emil's right. I'm much better at tarot cards. I can read for you or for someone else if you prefer.
Are you sure you don't know anything about the Black Wolf?
I never did, dear. I told you. Really, you mustn't confuse the vessel with the voice. All I remember was seeing a very bright flash like lightning. Next thing I knew, Emil had me outside. Whatever it was very powerful. Very powerful.
Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to do my tarot reading.
Don't you worry now. I know what I'm doing. Push your vital energies into the cards. This is your soul card, that which applies to all of your lifetimes. It's the Empress. Oh, that's a good one.
What's it mean?
It means that your soul's journey is one of leadership. There's great strength here, and intelligence. This card represents what you're like in this lifetime. It's the Chariot. Self-discipline, control. You need to feel you have a plan, that you're testing your abilities. The Chariot's very masculine. In combination with the Empress, it tells me that you're currently exploring your male side. You will seek out great achievement, but it does have its price.
Doesn't sound anything like me.
Yes, dear. The third card represents the other. You've pulled the Magician. Who is he, dear?
Excuse me?
Your other, the Magician. Oh, this is a very powerful card. Major Arcana.
My other?
Everyone has an other. Let's see. I bet it's the Schottenjäger. What's his name?
The Schottenjäger? Gabriel Knight.
A name of power. He is powerful, this one. The Magician is dexterous and cunning, mischievous and manipulative.
That's Gabriel, all right.
And very strong with magical and occult powers. Now this is interesting because your card, the Chariot, is all logic and reasoning, while his, the Magician, is spiritual and intuitive. You two are quite a pair. The fourth card shows what you're trying to achieve at this moment, your immediate destiny. It's the Strength or Lust card.
Lust?
Not that kind of lust, dear. It's a trial card, finding the strength to continue some difficult journey. It also represents the integration of conflicting energies. That must be your Chariot and his Magician energies. Strength also means bonding those energies, loving without judgment, learning to love the beast.
Uh-huh.
What is this trial, dear? Do you know?
Well, Gabriel and I are involved with a case right now.
It will be a hard time. You must let your love give you power. Use the positive energy of your union or you may not succeed.
I think you have the wrong idea. Gabriel and I just work together.
Yes, dear. But if I might just suggest, when you're facing negative forces, the positive energy of love is a very vital weapon. You make yourself vulnerable when you resist your own tools.
Well, that's been helpful.
I hope so, dear.
Maybe we should do a reading for Gabriel.
Oh, let's! It's a little like spying on someone unawares, but what the heck? Reach out to the cards and to think about his essence. His soul card is the Magician. Yes, dear, it reflects your other exactly.
Well, maybe, but I'd rather hold out for David Copperfield.
And his lifetime card? Oh, goodness. The Lovers.
You mean the sole purpose of his life is in his pants? Doesn't surprise me.
It's not what you think, dear. It's a duality card. As a lifetime card, it refers to Gabriel's own duality. Good versus evil, physical pleasure versus spiritual growth, that kind of thing. His challenge is to integrate the conflicting parts of himself. Until he does, he'll never find peace. And you will find peace when you acknowledge all of him. Find a way to love the worst as you already love the best.
You're really reaching.
Mother.
His other is the High Priestess.
Let me guess. That's me, right?
No, dear, it's not. The High Priestess represents psychic mysteries, deep wisdom. This is a very different energy from your earthy one. This must be our connection. To the voice, dear! Someone is trying to communicate with Gabriel. This force is represented by the High Priestess.
That's not much help. What about the Black Wolf?
But it is a help, dear. The High Priestess is a spiritual guide card if ever there was one. The message must have been a warning.
If this force is connected to Gabriel, and if he's so very psychic, then why doesn't it just go to him? Why say it to me?
Maybe Gabriel's blocked. Maybe he's purposefully blocking. There is that duality business. Let's go on and see if it becomes clear. The fourth card, remember, represents the current situation. It's death.
Oh. Nothing to worry about then.
Now you just leave interpretation up to me, Sugar Pie. It's a transformation card, dying to one thing and being born to another. It is painful, but it isn't necessarily bad. Two of Wands. Oh my.
What?
A 2 is not good here. Wands is Mars in Aries. That's a war card. In conjunction with the death card, there are 2 possible transformations.
2 transformations?
Yes, dear. Gabriel is waging a spiritual battle. The transformation might be good or evil. That must be the purpose of the High Priestess. She's trying to guide him.
So you think he really might be in danger?
Oh, yes, dear. Gabriel's very essence is at stake. If he takes the wrong path with his powers, Imola and I will stay in town. You must let me know if anything else happens that we can read for clues. Let the Force use you.
I'd better go.
Anytime you need us, stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
The Madonna. Saint Georg, patron saint of the Schattenjägers.
Gerda's here. I wonder what she's up to.
Oh my god. Gerda was in love with Wolfgang.
The castle looks huge from here. They've got more rooms left to restore than I thought. The castle looks huge from here. They've got more rooms left to restore than I... That's better, don't you think? I'm so sorry. I was an idiot.
Gabriel and I, we never...
I know. It's my fault. It's Gabriel's fault. He never tells me anything. I don't know why he didn't want me on this case.
Maybe he just...
Don't even try to make excuses for him. Still, he's up to his neck in it, I think. Will you help me out with something?
Of course.
I have to do some research on Ludwig. I want to go see some of his castles.
Take Gabriel's car. There's a map of southern Bavaria in the car. Ludwig's castles are all marked.
Thanks.
Good luck.
The paintings in this room are from the Siegfried saga.
I don't think the guard...
The richly carved bed.
Did they have running water in 1886? Maybe Ludwig thought all this luxury would help him sleep.
The stained glass window depicts St. Louis.
It's a beautiful crucifix. Ivory and gold.
The miracle of the Grail.
These linens look serious.
This is the king's living room. The walls are decorated with scenes from the Lohengrin saga. The king first saw Wagner's opera Lohengrin when he was 16, and it so affected him that he considered it a form of enlightenment. The tragedy of Lohengrin was his essential loneliness. This too was Ludwig's own fate. Ludwig withdrew more and more.
What were you afraid they'd see? More swans.
The swan motif is featured throughout the castle, but it is particularly prominent in this room. Both the swan and the lily were symbols Ludwig associated with himself. They represented his ideals of majesty and purity. The painting behind the swan shows Lohengrin's arrival.
I can almost picture Ludwig in here.
This is a reproduction of the grotto from the Tannhäuser saga. In such places, Ludwig could pretend he was one of his beloved mythic heroes. As the grotto personifies, the castles were solitary playgrounds built for Ludwig alone. He believed the masses were too coarse to appreciate fine art, and he seldom entertained guests. In fact, Ludwig had a standing order that upon his death, the castles were to be destroyed. Fortunately, the estate was in such debt that the castles were opened for paying tours only weeks after Ludwig's death. They haven't closed since. It is one of the great ironies of Ludwig's story that the castles that he was thought insane for building are now considered Bavaria's finest treasures. They have paid for their construction many times over. This is the king's, his reluctance.
I wonder why he was...
The study paintings depict
Why would Ludwig have wolf paintings?
This is the final room of our tour. The singers, the hall is probably best known for its The hunters tracked down Engelhard, the wedding feast of Hildegunde.
Nice view of the Alps.
Ludwig's childhood castle, Hohenschwangau, is Hildegunde's imprisonment. The death of Engelhard.
I wonder where that door leads.
The closed door leads to the tower. The stained glass window.
A king saint? I wonder if Ludwig pictured himself that way, or maybe he just wanted to be that way.
The paintings above the Alp, an interest. The study paintings depict Engelhard and the blacksmith. Engelhard courts. The hunters track down
There must be a story behind these wolf paintings, but what story? There must...
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Ich hätte gern eine Eintrittskarte fürs Museum.
Ja, 8 Mark für eine Ganztagskarte. So.
Danke.
Bitte.
They certainly make an incredible looking couple. They certainly make an Ludwig is Prince Charming. Ludwig is offered a... Even after Wagner's death, Ludwig still 26 July 1875. Solemn oath. What excitement. I need to see more of that He looks so regal. Why would he give up all of this pageantry and become a recluse? Signets and sash pins from the... I wonder if these pins have... Looks like it weighs a ton. Ludwig's diary. Ludwig kept a diary from 1869 when he was 24. The original... I've got to see that diary. Richard Wagner. Ludwig and Wagner. Ludwig loved the opera of his typical... June 7th, 1880. June 13th, 1886. At Berg, Ludwig seems cooperative. When Ludwig and the doc... June 18th, 1886. Ludwig's... His heart is in an urn. How bizarre. June 12, 18... Unbeknownst, Ludwig is taken by...
Oh my God. That's the slave from my dream.
Maybe Mrs. Smith will know what my dream meant. I have to ask someone. This thing is getting too weird. The midnight sleigh ride. I can see why. But what was he doing out there at night? Ludwig embarking on his... Ludwig's death mask. What? These are actual notes from Ludwig to his servants. December 14th, 1881. If I... December 18th. Ludwig's death.
Ist das die Ludwig Museum?
Ja, ja. Ludwig der Zweite von Bayern.
Ludwigs Tagebuch im Museum?
Ja.
Wo kann ich Ludwigs Tagebuch hier anschauen?
Die Tagebücher sind ganz persönlich. Die sind in den königlichen Archiven. Niemand darf die lesen.
Aber
nein, niemand darf die lesen.
Danke.
June 18th, 8. Ludwig.
Im Museum ist einen Brief von Ludwig über eine neue Wagner-Oper.
Ja, ja, ich kenne diesen Brief.
Wo kann ich mehr von dieser Wagner-Oper sehen?
Ja, ich weiß nichts über Wagner. Das hier ist kein Wagner-Museum.
Ja, ich weiß.
In Bayreuth befindet sich ein Wagner-Museum. Versuchen Sie es halt doch, ne?
Bayreuth. Danke.
Grüß Gott.
Guten Tag. Ist das die Wagner Museum?
Yeah, you're an American, aren't you? I'm afraid the house is closed this time of year. It will be open next month.
Crap.
You are interested in Wagner?
Very interested. Very recently very interested.
Yeah. Most of the house is closed for cleaning, but a few rooms are open. I shouldn't let you probably, but if it is only you, you are alone, aren't you?
Endlessly.
Come in and look over.
That's very generous. What do I owe you?
Georg Immerding. It's only a few displays. Besides, I wouldn't be much of a shining knight if I charged you.
Thanks, Georg. My name is Grace.
Hello. Have a good time.
Wagner's piano. Franz Liszt, composer and Cosima Wagner's father. Richard Wagner. An old sofa. The death of Wagner. On Ash Wednesday, 1883, Wagner suffered a heart attack in a Venetian gondola on the way to San Michele. His wife and the gondolier carried him into a church where he regained consciousness. Wagner's death mask. It looks like an architectural drawing of a theater. The Wittelsbacher Theater. Every square inch is measured. It's a letter from a Monsieur Beaujolais, dated September 1881. Looks like he's discussing acoustics, and wasn't Wagner's Bayreuth Theater already built? Why would Wagner be worrying about acoustics? The great patron himself. Ludwig as the Ludwig's death. July 1882. Great and beloved King, be full of hope and have courage. June 10th, 1880. We must speak. A portrait given as a gift. These look like production designs. I don't see anything that looks like those wolf paintings and these look like production design. I don't see anything that This must be a model of Wagner's own theater here in Bayreuth. This must be a opera costumes. Wagner souvenirs. Don't think I need any of those.
What are you doing here if the museum is closed?
They always like to have a caretaker here. It's a good job for me. I can soak in the atmosphere of the maestro while I compose.
What are you composing?
This? Oh, a new arrangement. One of Wagner's pieces.
For the Bayreuth Opera?
I am only a student at the university. I study music, composition, conducting.
Is there much of a call for conductors in Europe?
Ask my brother. He is the conductor for the Munich Opera.
Well, that's convenient. Does that mean you get free opera tickets?
Yes. I get a week's pass to the Opernfestspiele, the opera festival in Munich. It starts in a few months.
Hope I'm still around to see it.
Come with me if you like. If you're still around, I can go backstage and all sorts of things.
I'd love that. If I'm still in Germany, I'll call you, all right?
Yeah, good.
Tell me about Wagner.
He was a character. He spent most of his life trying to convince rich patrons to subsidize his work. Unfortunately, he had expensive tastes. You see, he believed that someone of his genius deserved to live well. Can't argue with that.
But Ludwig II supported him, didn't he?
Yeah, sure, but Ludwig came along very late in Wagner's life. By then, he had already been run out of Venice and most major cities because of debt. Ludwig saved him. And the music. Best thing Ludwig ever did.
Do you know anything about that letter from Wagner to Ludwig in the display case? The one about the diagram?
No. Some sort of equipment for Ludwig's theater. But I don't know why Wagner would have cared about this. If he was worried about any theater, you would think it would have been his own theater, here, in Bayreuth.
Have you ever heard about the letter that Ludwig wrote to the Munich conductor in 1882 telling him to prepare for a new Wagner opera?
You're full of surprises, for an American.
What do you know about it?
No one knows anything about it. It's like a treasure map, you know. It's probably a complete fairy tale, but it does make you wonder.
You have no idea what it could have referred to? Maybe something that Wagner was working on with Ludwig?
If there was, there's no trace of it. Except perhaps in the dreams of unemployed music students.
Have you ever heard about the wolf panels in the Singers' Hall at Neuschwanstein?
Did my brother send you here?
No.
Probably not. It's only the letter to the conductor, the wolf panels. My brother thinks I am crazy because of all my theories.
What theories?
This is Quatsch. If there was a lost opera, a lost Wagner opera, and if one could find it, to a conductor, this would be like finding King Tut's tomb. But people have looked for it before. If it ever existed, it is gone forever. My brother says I waste my time even thinking about it.
I'm curious. Is there any other information that points to the lost opera besides Ludwig's letter and the wolf panels?
It's nothing. I'm not even supposed to have seen it. You see, my brother says that Wagner was too egotistical to have produced a lost opera. If he was working on something new, every person in Bayreuth would have heard about it. On the other hand, it was in Ludwig's character to have wanted a private opera.
But it wouldn't have been private. Ludwig's letter shows he intended it to be played in Munich.
Yes, but that it would get so far without Wagner telling others? Why keep it a secret?
Maybe there was a very good reason for secrecy.
For example?
Like... Never mind.
I don't have anything to ask Georg about at the moment.
What's that book in the case?
Cosima Wagner's journal is locked up for preservation.
Huh.
Wagner souvenir. Wagner.
Hi, did you have a good time?
Uh-huh. Anything new?
Yes, you had a phone call.
Really?
A man named Professor Barkley. He said you had his number.
I do. Thanks.
Hello?
Hi, Professor Barkley. It's Grace.
Oh, good. I have a name for you. It's Herr Josef Dahlmeier, and he specializes in Bavarian history, and I think he's somewhere near you are.
Herr Josef Dahlmeier. Great, got a number?
Yeah, I do. It's 4982-555-2234.
Thanks a lot. Sorry about the bother.
That's no bother. When are you coming back to school, Gracie?
When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Well, be good.
Hallo?
Hallo, sind Sie Herr Josef Dahlmeier?
Yeah, you must be Grace Nakamura, the American history student.
Yes.
I hear you're interested in Ludwig II.
Very.
Good. There's something I want to show you. Drive to Berg on Starnberger See. Meet me at the Memorial Chapel.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, wait. Was there anything you wanted me to look into before we meet?
Well, I was hoping you knew something about someone called the Black Wolf. He was a contemporary of Ludwig's. He lived in Prussia, I think, and he was well connected.
Never heard of him, but I'll check. See you there.
Thanks. Bye.
It's a memorial chapel.
This is where he died. You must be Grace. Herr Dahlmeier.
Hello.
Josef, I didn't mean to startle you. I wanted you to see it. I feel him here the most, you know, more than at the castle. So, what did you want to know?
Professor Barkley says your hobby is Ludwig.
Yes. He was the last real king that Bavaria had. As a Bavarian and a history buff, that's enough to hook me right there.
But there's more, right?
He was a romantic, you know. A dreamer. And he was misunderstood, maligned.
Sounds like you can relate.
Me? Hell, I have it easy. At least I live in the 1990s. And not every eye in the country is on me. But yes, I can relate.
You know about Ludwig's diary, right?
Of course.
How can I get my hands on it?
I'm sorry. I have been trying myself for 5 years. They keep it locked up tight in the Royal Archives and they don't let it out. They must think it contains things that will hurt his image.
They won't let anyone see it, not ever?
Only one person outside of the government ever got to see it, a biographer, Sir Richmond Chapel. He had friends among the German royals and they let him look at it.
Did you ever try to contact Chapel? Pick his brain?
No, and I don't believe I never thought of that. If you do and you find out anything, you must share.
It's a promise. Tell me about Ludwig.
I don't know where to start. There's so much. Politically, the most significant thing about Ludwig II was that he signed over independent Bavarian statehood to Prussia in 1870. Bavaria became a part of United Germany, and Ludwig became a figurehead prince under the Prussian Kaiser.
Why do you think he did that?
Bavaria had been involved in the 100 Years' War. People were tired of fighting. Prussia's push to unite the German states made some amount of sense. Still, Ludwig must have had other options. At the very least, he should have negotiated better terms.
So what was the real reason?
He was manipulated by Bismarck. At least that's what I think anyway.
What about Ludwig personally?
You'll find two perspectives on Ludwig. The view the tourists get is the romantic ideal, Ludwig the tormented loner. Then there is the historian's point of view. Ludwig was plagued with guilt over his sexual orientation and was driven mad with self-loathing.
But I take it you're not buying either point of view.
Well, it's all too convenient, isn't it? That he was a devout Catholic, there is no question, and I'm sure there were pressures on him to be normal. But he was no prude. He loved Byron. Yes. Philosophy, the French court. If anything, Ludwig was too much an egomaniac. He didn't give a damn what anyone thought. And besides, he didn't try to hide any of his relationships. If he suffered from anything in his romantic life, it was disillusionment. No one loved him back as purely as he himself loved.
Well, if it wasn't sexual guilt that tormented him, what was it?
I don't know. His diary was filled with self-guilt, but I'm sure it's not about that. If I knew, I'd write my own book, set the record straight, so to speak.
Have you read anything about Ludwig's midnight sleigh rides?
Oh, would that have been something? To be out at night and suddenly see him sweep by with his entourage? They say the night agitated Ludwig, and that being outdoors and the rushing feeling of the sleigh calmed him down. Sometimes even the sleigh wasn't enough. He would stop in some remote woods, order his servants to stay put, and go wandering off by himself for hours. It drove the servants crazy.
Tell me about Bismarck.
Oh, Bismarck. He was the Prussian Kaiser's chancellor. Not a nice man. Bismarck had a reputation for learning people's weaknesses and manipulating them. It's a matter of record that he had spies on Ludwig's staff. He may even have had a henchman even closer to the king. And he was involved in the conspiracy to declare Ludwig insane.
Did you find out anything about the Black Wolf?
I did. I'd read about him before, but I hadn't realized that was who you were talking about. His name was Godin, Paul Godin. I found a reference to his being called the Black Wolf after you telephoned.
I've never heard of him. Who was he?
Godin lived on the fringes of the Prussian court. He was handsome, charming, dangerous, or so they say. He was variously rumored to have been a foreign prince, a Prussian spy, even an assassin. Since you were interested in him, I found out some things that are probably true. It said he came from abroad in the mid-1800s, but claimed high German blood.
Do you know where he came from?
No. And he was ruthlessly ambitious. He probably found out who held the power, Bismarck, and offered his services. Bismarck was a good judge of talent of that sort, anyway.
What else do you know about Godin?
He must have done something remarkable. Bismarck was not a generous man. He liked to string people along with promises, but rarely came through. He did for Godin, though. He gave him a royal title and lands in 1863. And that was the last reference I found to him.
Well, how could he just disappear?
It's not that unusual. Back then, when you were given a title, you usually changed your name and moved to a place where no one knew your past, so you could act with impunity. Or be a pompous ass and get away with it.
Is there any way to find out what Godin was called after he got his title?
Is it that critical?
It might be.
Well, you could send away for a copy of the entitlement deed, assuming it has been destroyed during one of the wars. Godin's new name would be on it. But you would need a research permit from the government to access those records, and they can be very hard to get. A lot of red tape.
Great. What do you know about Ludwig's hunting accident?
A couple of years ago, I was introduced to this great old man, a real old world farmer. Well, his grandfather was Richard Horning, Ludwig's equestrian. Oh, he told some great Ludwig stories. Sometimes I get lucky. Anyway, he said that after the hunting accident, Ludwig got terribly ill, that he had a fever and was acting crazy. They were afraid that the wolf had been carrying a disease or that the bite had gone septic.
A wolf bit him?
Yeah, it's not so unusual. There were a lot of wolves in the Alps back then. The servants were really worried, but Ludwig recovered, physically anyway. Horning's grandfather said it was the fever that broke Ludwig's mind, that he was worse than ever after that.
What do you mean Ludwig got worse after the accident?
Ludwig always had been a very private person. But after the accident, he got darker, more crazy. Towards the end, he was even forcing his servants to enter his chambers bent over so they couldn't see his face. Horning's grandfather said his temper was fearsome. He would fly into a rage at the least mistake.
Must have been terrified of him.
Yes, well. Horning's grandfather felt sorry for Ludwig, and Ludwig hated his own violence. He was always giving gifts to his servants to apologize.
You mentioned that there were other reasons why Ludwig's servants feared him.
Ah, that's another of Horning's mysteries. There's a story about Neuschwanstein. Apparently there was a period of time of 2 or 3 months when Wagner would come and visit him
Wagner?
there. Yeah. The two would lock themselves in the singer's hall. Horning's grandfather said the sounds that came from there were awful. Well, the servants had superstitious minds anyway. Some of them quit over it, just walked away.
What kind of sounds?
Horning's grandfather called them heartbreaking and ungodly. Maybe it was Wagner trying to sing.
Well, I guess that's all for now. Thanks for your help.
It's my pleasure. And if you ever want to talk again, just give me a call. I'll meet you down.
I will. Thanks.
Servus.
Well, bye. This is where they found Ludwig's body. This is where they found Ludwig's body. This is where they found Ludwig's body. I wonder what it felt like under there. I wonder what it felt like under
Hi, Gerda. I'm back.
Good.
Fourth of March, 1860. I have heard. My wallet.
It wasn't worth picking up the first.
There's nothing else on where.
I wish I could read these biographies of Ludwig. Wait a minute. Ludwig II, fairy tale king of Bavaria. I didn't see this before. Yep, English. Huh.
Ludwig remained throughout his life both very bright and very naive. He was an introvert who seemed to be constantly out of sync with traditional views of rulership, money, and human relationships. The world ever failed to match his ideals. Perhaps this was a fault of his sheltered upbringing as future king. He never was introduced to the real world, and the real world failed to interest him as an adult.
In his youth, Ludwig was in fine physical condition and loved to hike alone in the Alps and ride horses. He had a hunting lodge, Schahen, specifically for this purpose. Unfortunately, in 1872, a rather traumatic hunting accident befell the king at Schahen, and his leg was cruelly damaged. He never fully recovered from this incident, and his hiking and riding ceased. His physical health deteriorated from that time on, and explains why he looked so unhealthy in later years.
A hunting accident? Other than his long-standing friendship with the Empress Elizabeth of Austria and with his mother, the relationships Ludwig attempted with others were nearly always a disappointment for him and a bewilderment for his partners. He would become obsessed with someone, a singer, an artist, a nobleman or a peasant, and would bombard them with gifts, praise, and favors. When they would fail to return the depths of rapturous passion he required, the singular adoration and humble obedience he expected, he would grow disappointed and cut himself off from them. The objects of his interest were occasionally women, usually ones he fell in love with after seeing them in idealized roles on the stage, but they were more often young men who fit his fantasies of the heroic sagas like Lohengrin and Parsifal that he so loved. A good example of the king's obsessive behavior in relationships is the following letter from the Königlich Bayerische Archives, which this author was privileged to access. It is dated 1864, and it was written by Ludwig's manservant, Paul, to a friend. The king has been in high mood these days. The reason, of course, is a new interest. Thursday last, the king attended a performance of Lohengrin in the Wittelsbacher Theater. He came back in a fever, demanding that a man be found. The man, it was gathered, had been sitting in a box across from Ludwig and had drawn the king's attention by his beauty and his deep emotional response to the performance. The king declared that here at last is a sensitive soul. The man was tracked down and brought in for an audience. Upon my word, never have I seen any mind so in line with His Majesty's own. They discussed Wagner and France and Byron and all manner of things until long past dawn. The young man, beautiful indeed to look upon, met the king's enthusiasm and knowledge bit for bit. His Majesty has been in the thick of it ever since, and while I welcome his good temper, I grow tired of fetching letters back and forth to Louis, so called by His Majesty. That should tell you who the young man looks like, at all hours of the night. 1863? Wasn't that about the same time the Black Wolf got his entitlement? This author has not been able to learn much about Louis, but he was known to have been a seemingly high-bred foreigner, and he was involved with Ludwig as late as 1880, when he fell into disfavor. The king, especially later in life, felt a great deal of guilt about his sensual nature. His diaries are full of repentant entries begging God for forgiveness and swearing to remain pure. In many of the diary entries, he swears to abstain from sexual relations. The number of these oath entries indicate that Ludwig was not very successful in resisting temptation, yet it is also clear that Ludwig was a God-fearing man and that, though his flesh might occasionally fall, he never surrendered his heart and his conscience to sin.
Hallo, Bertil München.
Hi, I have a book of yours on Ludwig II. The author's name is Sir Richmond Chappell.
Yes, how can I help you?
Well, I'm doing some research on Ludwig, and I was hoping you could get me in contact with the author.
I'm afraid Sir Richmond Chappell is deceased.
Oh.
However, his son is living.
Oh. Well, is there any way you can put me in touch with him?
And who are you doing this research for?
Well, I'm working with Professor Barkley from Yale University.
All right. Thomas Chappell's number in England is 41 20 555 771.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.
Chappell residence?
Hi, my name is Grace Nakamura. I'm calling from Rittersburg, Germany. Is Thomas Chappell there, please?
Speaking. What may I do for you, Miss Nakamura?
This is going to sound crazy, but I have a copy of your father's biography on Ludwig II. I understand he had access to Ludwig's diary.
Yes.
Well, I'm not even sure. He didn't make a copy of it or anything, did he? Or perhaps he took good notes?
He wrote down a complete translation in English. He said he couldn't make headway with the German version. Ludwig's handwriting was rather brogue, you know.
He wrote down an English translation. Do you still have it?
Well, unfortunately, my father was allowed to see the diary only on the grounds that he wouldn't publish the entire work. I can't let you see it. Have you tried contacting the National Archive?
No, I don't have the kinds of connections your father did, or the time.
That's unfortunate, but I really cannot let it out of my hands.
I understand. It was just a shot in the dark.
Very well. The best of luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chappell.
Those look better. Jürgen Ritter, 1403. Those look... Gerda must have really loved Wolfgang. Gerda must have... I wonder what kind of flowers these are. I wonder what kind of flowers... Gerda must have... Gerda must... These coffins are... These coffins are really...
Gerda?
Yes?
Have you heard from Gabriel at all?
No, Grace, I'm sorry.
Never mind. Gerda, do you have any idea where I could get a government research permit? I don't have time for a lot of red tape.
You should ask Herr Übergrau. He can maybe get such things very fast.
You think? I was gonna write Gabriel today anyway.
I should get a letter off.
Herr Huber?
Yes?
Are the Smiths in their room?
Ja, I believe so.
Could you ask them to come down, please?
Ja, natürlich.
Now you just tell Merle what's going on.
I had a dream last night. I didn't remember it at first, but I saw something today at one of the museums.
What was the dream?
I was being chased in the woods by wolves. And I saw a sleigh. Ludwig was inside. He pulled me up, and I thought I was safe. But then he turned into a wolf.
So what do you think, Mother?
A dream of rescue is a spiritual guide dream. The High Priestess in Gabriel's cards must be linked to Ludwig somehow.
What do the wolves represent?
I'm a psychic, dear, not Freud. But the warning I got was about the black wolf, wasn't it? And the wolves in the dream. It must be the same danger.
It's so frustrating. The more I find out, the more questions I have.
Why don't you try a little communicating of your own? Ludwig's the link. Appeal to him. The answers may not come right away, but at least you'll give the guide something specific to say the next time she contacts you.
Isn't there any way that you could, do a psychic reading on Ludwig or something?
To tell you the truth, I've been trying all day to make contact. But I only feel great despair. Ludwig's soul is not at peace.
I'd better go.
Anytime you need us, stop by.
And be careful now.
Thanks.
Grüß Gott, Frau Nakamura.
Grüß Gott. Haben Sie etwas für mich?
Nein, leider nicht. Brauchen Sie noch etwas?
Kann ich diesen Brief versenden?
Ja, 3 Mark bitte.
Dankeschön.
Bitte sehr. Brauchen Sie noch etwas?
Danke.
Bitte.
Gibt's das denn, die Lilienblühen schon?
Sehr schön.
Ja, aber es ist doch noch so kalt. Für Sie ein Geschenk von der Madonna.
Oh no.
Nehmen Sie sie ruhig. Heute Nacht wird es kalt und sie wird sowieso erfrieren.
Thank you.
Father Getz said the lily was a gift from the Madonna. That's an odd way of looking at it.
I'm trying to figure out what you want me to do, but I need more information to work with. If you can send any my way, I'd appreciate it.